Shabbat Shalom. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm sorry you can't be there in person. Dale, I would love to harmonize with you, but not this time. And Marcia, thank you so much for the chance to talk with your congregation. I'm Rabbi Joe Mendelson. I'm a rabbi in NCJW. I'm independent, doing my own thing, and a chaplain. Tonight I want to take a few moments to talk about this week's Parshat Mishpatim. Parshat Mishpatim begins right after the receiving God's commandments at Mount Sinai, what we call the Ten Commandments. So Mishpatim starts maybe 2 paragraphs later and has 53 more commandments, or mitzvot if we prefer. Somehow, having all these commandments doesn't seem to set the stage for the loving God we know, does it? God says, you must, and we do. Yet, these commandments are the foundation of halakha. Halakha, how to live life, caring for each other. And embedded within them are values, justice, community, dignity, and most importantly, life itself. The Torah talks about justice in Dvarim. Moses tells the Israelites, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, justice, justice shall you pursue. And if you read chapter 19 of Vayikra, Leviticus, the holiness codes, you find specific examples of treating everyone justly. Community and dignity, again reading the holiness codes, treating the marginalized with dignity and equality. The poor, orphan, widow, stranger, treating our fellow person as we want to be treated. And of course, life itself. Moses says in Dvarim, I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. And then says to the Israelites, use God's commandments to live a fruitful life. So the commandments do have a real connection to the values that we cherish in today's society. Also, Mishpatim sets the stage for this week's Repro Shabbat, a National Council of Jewish Women program promulgating Judaism's view on abortion and the right to choose one's health. We appreciate religions and differences in understanding when life begins. Throughout the world, religions argue this. And while the joke is that life begins when your children leave the house, this issue really isn't a joke. Our country is following one definition and ignoring the others. Let's understand what is at stake here. Reproductive rights should not be legislated by a government that separates church and state. Rather, it should be a personal decision reflecting one's personal understanding of life. Justice, community, and human dignity are at risk because of our society's inability to respect alternative definitions. As a result, people of color, those struggling financially, the young, immigrants, people with disabilities, the LGBTQIAP community, all are marginalized when it comes to getting reproductive health care. If they can't get health care, we have our fellow people not being treated justly, not being cared for, and not being treated with the love that our God expects of us. God gave us commandments in order to care for each other and to work with God in order to create a just and caring world. Now that sounds like a loving God. It is up to us to be loving as well. And before I say Shabbat Shalom, I invite you to join me tomorrow at 2 o'clock as I teach what are Jewish views on reproductive rights. Shabbat Shalom.